1940s, Irvin and his brother Israel, they operated a drugstore in Washington, D.C., and they used to sell some records, and they realized that selling records brought more people into the store than actually coming in to get prescriptions and buying drugs. So then, taking note of that, they started a touring business. It was called Feld Brothers Super Attractions, and then they put popular music concerts on tour in arenas. And then Irvin, that was kind of Feld's dad. His first love was always the circus. So he was hired by John Ringling North in 1956 to work with the circus, and he brought it out of bankruptcy by moving it out of the tent into arenas because he had the history of touring music artists in arenas. So that's what happened. And then in 1967, the Feld family with a couple other partners bought the circus from John Ringling North. And so now, of course, the Feld family owns the circus. We've owned it for over 50 years, longer than the Ringling brothers, which is kind of a fun fact. And as you guys will see today, we are relaunching it, reimagining it, and modernizing it for today's audience.
We have spent several years now thinking and imagining what could be possible. And as we started to work on the show, we do a lot of research, we do a lot of, overall industry, we look at industry trends, we look at our own research, we look at what kids and families are doing, but really the biggest thing that made the difference to us was a whole lot of soul searching in terms of what is the heart of this property. Why has Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey endured for over 150 years? And the answer to that question is change. Over 150 years, this property has continued to evolve, continued to change, continued to meet our fans and our families where they are in the world, and to represent the best talent and the best entertainment anywhere on the planet. So as we thought about what was so important about this show and what had to be there for it to truly be the greatest show on earth, we knew that what was really important was to leave our fans with that feeling of wonder and awe and joy, and that feeling of connectivity to the people that they came with. As we started to work on the development of this show, we looked for ways to highlight our performers in really spectacular moments. And so we have done a global search. You'll get to meet our director of casting, who went through over 4,000 submissions of talent from around the world. We did a global audition process in 5 different countries, but we really scoured the entire globe to find the best talent, the best combination of artistry, thrills, comedy, and whimsy to bring into the production. So we use technology in ways that help us to connect with our performers, whether it's bringing in video elements into the show, which you'll see around the base of our center stage, also in the air, so we can see things that we've never gotten to see before, like feet walking across our triangular high wire for the very first time. What you're looking at here is actually an important part of our process. So though we began with a completely blank sheet of paper, as we move through and develop, one of the key elements of what we do at Feld Entertainment in our process is actually create a model of the entire production. So this is a 1-inch scale, and we actually run through the entire production using this model before we have our performers come to the show. And we can run through technical elements this way. It allows us actually to create a production that is more technically complex than anything else that goes on the road, because we actually work on these technical elements quite early on. And that's allowed us to engineer some elements of the production that have never been seen before, like a triangular high wire. We have an incredible, stunning crisscross trapeze performance, and we have 2 double wheels of destiny, as well as many other elements you'll see throughout the show. We've got some incredible BMX stunts, and there's just so much more.
We've been working on this production for around 3 years now, and it's felt so good over the last few months to finally be here at Feld Entertainment with our amazing cast and our amazing crew getting this show on its feet. And so we're so excited that we've got an audience today with you guys. We kind of asked ourselves, what does an audience of today, of 2023, expect from the show? But not just that, how would our version of Ringling fit into those audiences' expectations? And obviously, we know that there's huge advances in technology that kind of push those expectations to a whole new level, but ultimately, we truly believe that an audience from today has the same feeling of what it was yesteryear, which is ultimately they want to come to a show, they want to experience a live connection, and they want to be inspired by awe, by wonder, and by spectacle.
And as directors, it's been hugely inspiring for us to work with the greatest performers across the globe to create what truly is the greatest show on earth. And you know, one of our particular highlights has been watching this group of hugely talented performers, amazing crew, come together and really grow and really celebrate each other and support each other and really become a family.
So your name is Jan?
That's right.
How long have you been doing the Rollabola?
Since I was 12 years old.
12 years old. So a few minutes.
About almost 30 years.
All right. And how long have you been with Ringling? Is this your first tour with them?
This is my first tour with Ringling.
Awesome. So in addition to the Rollabola, what kind of things do you get to do in the show?
I'm a comedic character.
Okay.
So we have some skits, some hijinks, some pratfalls. I do some juggling, a little bit of acrobatics. And I also have a robot dog.
Oh?
Her name's Bailey. She's a completely free-moving robot that's a character in the show. And I take her for a walk. We get into some trouble. Hilarity ensues.
And when you do the Rollabola, what's the maximum height? How many levels do you do in the show?
You want me to show you?
Sure.
Why not?
Whoa. Whoa.
We're good. All right.
Ooh.
Didn't actually think through it.
Getting down's the tricky part. Yes.
Just going to see. All right, yeah. So, this way. She wants me to walk slow. I will do what the lady says. I'm supposed to know how to do this and be able to look straight forward and balance, but I don't think I can. Thanks, guys.
So hi everybody. To deliver the greatest show on earth, we had to find the greatest cast on earth. And to find that, really, I went all over the planet to look for the best talent in their own environment. So I went all over the world to look for them. Initially, what you can do once you do a testing for the greatest show on earth is to have a moment of research. See what is new, what is trending. Circus artists keep working and keep delivering new entertainment all the time. They have new skills. They're really, really versatile. So it's not just one discipline. It's a lot of disciplines, a lot of versatility going on. So once we get this moment of research, it's about seeing where the talent is. And every single location, specific location, it had its own flavor, rhythm, personality itself. So I went to Paris, I went to Las Vegas, Buenos Aires, Addis Ababa, Ulaanbaatar, all the four corners of the world, because every single city had their own offering as far as personalities of the performers, but also the fact we wanted to go from a classical, more traditional circus performer to a raw talent that we found in Addis Ababa or in Argentina. That's where people make rhythm with their bodies. It's where you bring the music to the show. That is not just through a band or through musical instruments is through voladoras, for instance, these ropes with a weight at the end, or the bombas, which are the drums. It's implementing everything together and make an original, one-of-a-kind performance for all of you.
How was Disney on Ice?
Those are elephant paintings. Are these elephant paintings?
They are. Yeah, you got it. As you can see, we have a lot of costumes here dating back to the 60s. One of the great things about COVID allowed us to actually work with Heritage Works, I think they're here today, to start archiving a lot of our costumes. So we took that downtime to photograph basically everything in here and get it digitally, in a system where we could search for it. But yeah, so now everything is archivable and we can find it. But yeah, dating back to the 60s. Sometimes we do pull some of the costumes and refresh them for shows. I have a number.
And I came to the company as an associate costume designer in 1997 for Ringling Brothers. So it's very near and dear to my heart. This is my 24th Circus. This show is completely different than what we've done in the past. It's much more performer oriented. It's about the people. It's about where they've come from, who they are, what their story is, what they do. So it's very focused on the performers, which is very different than how we've ever done it before. Our Argent Dance and our Troop Brothers, who are from Mongolia and Argentina, I worked with their designers that designed their costumes so that we had the flavor of their heritage in their country and the things that they like to work in, because as your costume designer, you're supposed to know what that is. So it was a great co-design collaboration, because I was able to work with two people from different parts of the world, and we were able to satisfy the needs of the pretty technical acts. If you think about arenas and large buildings, the ceilings are generally dark or black or not lit. So having things up in the air and lots of sparkle, we must have our Swarovski crystals up there. That makes everything better, always. Big, bold statements is generally the name of the game for arena shows, large-scale arena shows, because even if you're up close, even if you're in the front row, you're looking at a lot of stuff from a decent distance. So big, bold, graphic, and a lot of sparkle. There are 75 performers, and I haven't actually counted them. I think there's there's double that, because there are 2 costumes for everybody. So there's at least 150, and then there's a little more because some people have several. One of the things about this show is that people are staying in their costumes unless they need a change for an act. So you recognize them throughout the show. So when you see them, you know who they are, and you know who they are throughout. So that number is a little bit lower than it traditionally is, but it's for a good cause, so to speak. These little dots are called beacons, and a handful of the performers have them, and then inside is a ton of tech. So this is just one pack. So this pack is for the black tracks, which is the lighting following system. And then this is Alex, who I think you all met. He also has an in-ear pack and 2 mic packs, so he's loaded with 4 packs plus the mic, plus the ears, plus the black tracks. So our principal performers and characters that you see throughout all have this system on them. And we get to put holes in our costumes. It's so much fun.
All of the items here and all the items at all of our shows are custom made. You won't find them anywhere else. We design everything from the way the lights flash, how many lights are in the light, what color the lights are. We design every little detail right down to the hang tag to make sure that it's consistent and it's the way we want it to be. So we started this process last summer, and this is a small sample of what we're going to have on the show. So we do have some iconic items that people will recognize immediately from when they were kids at the show. but we featured some of those, and we really wanted to focus on the fantasy type animals, you know, like to give them some fun and some play, some, you know, because stuffed animals are always nice and kids love it. So we took some of those elements of things that we, you know, had in the past, but put all new fresh spins on it.